And good evening. Welcome again. Obviously, we was on last night. Now we're on again tonight. Hope everyone's okay. Obviously, we've got Ashley back, who's probably going to disappear in probably God knows how long. But how are you?
Don't go, Ashley.
I'll come back. I promise. I'm just waiting to ship 2 kids off with their grandparents. So that's all.
Awesome. We've got Richard Kaufman. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. And Dr. Robb, my brother.
Bang, Richard. Good to see you. Adam, good to see you. Ashley, good to see you. And we're here for one of the most amazing podcast guys you've ever heard.
Absolutely. And obviously, we've got Stephen Smith from Sarasota, Florida. We've got Michael Durang here. They're all in the house. People, please share this. And if you haven't already, please subscribe because we're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I think we're on like 921 now. So we're getting there. So tonight's topic is a little bit of a trigger one. It's combining trauma and addiction. And I think it's perfect for doing this because I have to throw it out there. On Monday, I'm going to be a year sober. 1 whole year. So I thought I'd throw it out there now. So, Dr. Robb, because you're new here, kickstart with a bit of an introduction to who you are, what you do, and how you kick ass.
Excellent. Okay, guys, my name's Dr. Robb Kelly. I'm over in San Antonio, Texas. But as you can tell by the accent, I'm not from here. I'm from Manchester, England. I'm what's called an addictionologist in America, which basically means that I specialize in addiction, alcoholism, childhood trauma, depression, anxiety, PTSD, Alzheimer's, and dementia is what we specialize in. I have 5 offices around the world. I have Dallas, San Antonio, Manchester, Switzerland, and Spain. And we love our life. We love what we do because we do what we love.
Absolutely. So, trauma and addiction intertwine, how they connect, because when we have an addiction, we're covering up for something, and most of the time. So give us a little bit of an insight into how, and this is for everybody, how you think it connects.
How does childhood trauma connect with addiction?
Yes.
This is what we have to look at. Alcoholics are born, drug addicts are made. Alcoholism is a predisposition. We've traced it back to fetus level in imprinted genes. So drug addiction is the addictive personality. So when we look at childhood trauma, it is 1,000,000% to do with addiction. 1,000,000%. So childhood trauma is the gateway drug. That's where it all starts. And we're not just talking about, a death or a car crash or a plane crash. We found out with the brain, and when we study the brain, is alcoholics and addicts are more sensitive to things out there. So we hear things different. So my mom says, get off that sofa. That's what my brother hears. I hear, get off that sofa. So everything's more exaggerated in our brain. The childhood trauma that we've seen, everything you do today is because of the trauma. So if you can't keep a job, if you're stuck in relationships, it's all back to childhood trauma. I say to people all the time, you can be anything and do anything you want. And they say that's impossible. I say, no, it isn't. Somebody's put that there. And it's during the childhood trauma. So unless we go back, uncover, discover, and discard of them events, it gets tied up in the basal ganglia and becomes part of the amygdala, where all our fear and trauma is stored, and it stales the brain. When I say stale, I mean it imprints. The thought patterns are solid. The brain, they thought was unchangeable, but now we know from neuroscience and epigenetics that that's not true. But childhood trauma will solidify that brain pattern into self-sabotaging behavior.
Ashley, Richard?
Well, since when I had Dr. Robb on my show a while ago, it's been a while, something we talked about is that when an adult acts out, it's normally because stuff that happened between the ages of 3 and 13, and that's when it just shows itself. So I think trauma and addiction, they walk hand in hand down the beach. They're kinfolk. So if we can cut that off of the past before we even get to that point, I think that we have a lot less chance of our children becoming addictions or addicts.
Boom. Drop that mic. Richard, drop that mic. That's beautiful. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah? Absolutely.
Waving to the kids, Ashley.
They already went out the window.
Oh.
No, this topic I think is going to be very fascinating, honestly, for me, just because of the fact that my husband's biological mom, we have ties with her, if you will, but she is very much an alcoholic. If she still drinks today, we don't know, because again, we've cut the tie with her. But while she was pregnant with my husband, she was very much drinking heavily. And we like to say that had to be honestly God moments, because he doesn't have like signs of fetal alcohol syndrome or any like lasting side effects. And he does not touch alcohol at all, simply because he grew up with her being an alcoholic. He watched her be beaten by boyfriends and all of the things, like he can remember hiding in a closet. So it's one of those things that he's seen and he's witnessed enough that he has made the decision, like, if you want to drink, fine, you can drink, but I'm not going to hold your hair if you're barfing in the toilet. I'm not picking you up from the bar. Like, I'm not going to tolerate it. When we go to like events and places where there is drinking, like for a wedding, for example, like it triggers him because it sends him into this emotional state of like hypervigilance and all of that stuff, watching other people consume alcohol, be drunk, and in true honesty, show their stupid side, right? Because a lot of people can show their stupid side when they drink. But it doesn't put him in a good place, and then it doesn't put our marriage in a good place. So I have to be paying attention to those certain trigger things that happen for him. So this, I think, is definitely one of those things, like him witnessing that and having that experience, and that trauma plays into what he doesn't do today simply because of that. And I'm thankful for that, because I don't even know what he would be like if he drank. Like, I've never experienced it. So
kids, no, my daughter's was just rooting through the freezer for an ice lolly. They choose the moments, but anyway, it is going to be a fascinating one, and I think we're all going to be learning something from this particular topic. Obviously, we've got Robert Brooker from Canada. He's putting, I'm sensing that Richard will enjoy hosting Dr. Robb Kelly on his show again. Am I mistaken?
Don't know.
Exactly. Those times I have been a designated driver, personal observations confirm what Ashley is saying. But there you go.
Oh, Richard disappeared. Where'd Richard go?
Did I say something?
I think he like froze.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, please share this, everyone. Please do. So, Dr. Robb, give us your little bit of a experience in how these two impacted you, if you want to talk about it.
So most of the things I say we've studied and trialed and tested. We spent over $1 million in studies and trials, scientific and neuroscience trials. So I lean heavily to that, and then look back at my childhood. Trauma for me and anyone else, because it's built into the family, it's a generational thing, alcoholism, is simply my mom saying you can't do this, or don't be silly, or you're too stupid, and stuff like that. And then I was bullied at school. I was bullied in secondary school. Thank God I can say secondary school. I'm trying to think what the American version is, but yeah, secondary school. And
is it middle school? Is
middle,
it middle school, Ashley?
Yeah, it is middle school. Yeah, I think it's middle school. So also, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That bodes into the trauma and the withdrawing back into myself and being shy, and it all comes from the upbringing. So what's interesting is when you follow an upbringing of a child, there's lots of things that's happened in that house. So we always get let's say the alcoholics, the patient coming in and finding out that the daughter has, gone out and met this horrible guy. And when we trace it back, we find out that mom and dad's alcoholic, used to come home 2 or 3 times a week, drunk, and physically fight mom, punch her and fight mom. And then in the morning, they'll get up and go, oh, I'm sorry, I love you. I'm sorry, oh, I love you. And what the child picks up going through the period of anything from 6 to 11 is that violence follows I love you must mean that's a love affair and that stuff. So fascinating enough with the trauma, she will 100% attract the same guy that ends up beating her and ends up being an alcoholic or addict of that. To the certain extent with the trauma is he finds somebody who's good to her, she'll self-sabotage that relationship. So again, I can't stress enough. My professor sent me to the zoo, Chester Zoo, to study primates on my behavioral science. I got 2 PhDs, psychology and behavioral science. And it was amazing what you picked up with that every day with being nonverbal, of how that transforms into family dynamics in the family house. So we came up with this saying that when we first come out of it, everyone's going, that's ridiculous, don't ever say that. And now very, very posh establishments is taking it on, and that is anything less than nurturing as a child is child abuse. Because how many times do we let kids come home, up in the bedroom, there's nothing, there might be some dinner there for them, but they're playing the games for 6 hours. There's no nurturing anymore with families. Very few families that we meet anyway. Yeah. There is. And that's very, very important. So you see that trauma cycle and then trauma bonding with anybody that meet, just going round in a cycle. And unless that cycle's broken, unless you go back, uncover, discover, discard of that stuff, then you're always going to be stuck in that scare, that fear, that flight situation. And human beings are not meant to operate like that. The fear is supposed to come in the way of a gut feeling. Back to the tribal days, when a tribesman picks up this gut feeling, it means there's danger near. So they either run or they get ready to fight. That's the gut feeling. That's been taken over psychologically and central nervous system wise into this constant fight or flight behavior. And of course, we trace that back. Now, food buys into this as well, unfortunately. The food that we eat is shit over here, but that's okay. So all that bound up brings the addict, alcoholic, depressed, childhood trauma person to the same conclusion. But what I will add to that, if I may, is people in America, and I'm American now, they go to the doctor for everything. Okay, so this is the prime example. If I go home and say to my wife, I'm depressed, the first thing she's going to say is go and see the doctor. So I go to the doctor and I say I'm depressed. So while I'm speaking to him, he's writing a prescription out for a medication for depression. And he gives you that and off you go. What's really happening there is my serotonin is low. So if you look at the medical dictionary definition of depression, it's lack of serotonin. Why aren't we asking the question why my serotonin is low in the first place, rather than getting a fixed serotonin that's artificial? So my serotonin depletes and I'm stuck on this pill for the rest of my life. And you might say, what's that got to do with trauma? Well, that's what mom did, and that's what her mom did, and that we run to the doctors every time. And once we take something alien in our body, it changes neural pathways, it changes the pattern that you were meant to be. So people walk around at 45% of the capability and don't even know it.
Absolutely. Richard?
No, I love when Dr. Robb talks. I can listen to him read the dictionary to me and I'd be so happy. But I just love that the thought that in America everything is, well, take a pill or take a supplement, or but And a lot of it is, and I'm sure Doc would agree, that it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
It's another mic drop there. Oh my God, Richard, it's so true. The food over here is that there are 4 breakfast cereals that are banned in the UK that we still eat here today. Most of it's garbage food. It's false food. It's, canola oils, all that stuff that are killing us. And we don't know it because nobody tells us. And we were doing live TV the other day, San Antonio, and I went into a supermarket, and this famous brand health bar was like a granola bar, and it's like, wow. And this is what it had. Okay, 0 fat, 9 grams of protein. Okay, I'm thinking, oh my God, I found a snack for me. And I took it off the shelf and I turned it round to the camera. It had 27 ingredients in that little bar. Most of the stuff, like canola oils and stuff, were not meant to methylate. The human body can't methylate sunflower oils, canola oils, all that shit that they put in there. So this is what happens in the US, probably more than the UK, is we give our children this and we eat this, and everything we put into our body has to be molded and turned into a source that we can use as a human being. So it has to methylate into the source that we use. Well, it can't methylate most of the stuff in that protein bar. When we can't methylate a food or protein, there becomes a deficiency. That deficiency causes cancers, addiction, heart problems, and nobody's saying anything about it. And it drives me crazy how people come here and they're unhealthy and you don't know why. Well, I'm starting off with, the first thing I do, like the doctor said, is I eat porridge in the morning, but oats, they're for horses. Somebody came up the other day and said, hey, what's to do with diabetes? And I said, well, if you want diabetes, I know you don't, nobody wants, but if I wanted you or you wanted to get diabetes, I would send you to the diabetic website of the USA. You follow that diet, starting with orange juice in the morning, you'll be a diabetic within a month. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashley?
But it has fiber. You know, right? Poop.
Anyway, get back on topic, guys. Come on.
That is on topic. Our food quality here is utter shit. And I'm not saying that our household diet is 100% perfect. It's not. But at the end of the day, when the other day I made ham and potatoes and broccoli, my kid's like, hey, is there more broccoli? He ate a whole bag of broccoli. Like, he just wanted broccoli. Okay, more power to you. I don't care. Like, when my kid chooses to pick up a vegetable versus a candy bar, like, that's a win. And it starts, of course, like, in the home. They've had that was one thing. Okay. This utterly drove me bananas. My first son, he's now going to be 15. He's taller than I am. I know, doesn't take much. If you've ever seen me like stand up next to my husband.
No comment.
Shut up, Adam. But anyway, when he was 1, he weighed 14 pounds. He was born at 5 pounds, 13 ounces. He weighed 14 pounds, met all of his milestones, was walking, doing all the things. The doctor came in the room. She goes, if you don't admit him into the hospital right now, I'm calling CPS on you. I was like, why? She goes, because he's underweight, failure to thrive, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you're out of your mind. Yeah. I'll do all of the outpatient testing you want me to do. And come to find out he was slightly anemic. I said, but all of his other labs are normal? Yeah. So then I had my second son. I come home from the hospital and all of a sudden 2 CPS workers are at my door because I refused to play the game of constantly bringing him in for weight checks at the doctor's office.
Do you know what? That's similar to my case because, well, mine and Kerry's, because with Wyatt, our youngest, he obviously throughout the pregnancy, we was told he's bigger than he's supposed to be. And this was about 23 weeks pregnant. Oh, he's at 5 pounds something already, and we thought, brilliant. When he was born, £4.13, and he was small.
Yeah,
They
like you
wanted-
can't. It's a
This
shit.
is what I mean. This is what I mean. And it caused trauma to me and Kerry as well, because obviously Kerry had to stay in the hospital for 2 nights just for observation. So one night we understand why, but they wanted to do like tests to find out why is he not growing, why is he not taking to milk and stuff like that, which he didn't at first, which is understandable. But I was basically saying, right, I want senior people down here, senior doctors down here, because at the end of the day, you're saying that he's not growing because of such a reason, but you've not thought about the family, the small people in the family. It could be genetics, but they didn't think about that, so we ended up leaving.
No, well, and that's the thing too. So, okay, I have CPS workers at my door. I'm like, come on in, it's lunchtime. My kid, as an infant, or like when he was eating foods and all of that, he could pound down sweet potatoes like this, like huge sweet potatoes, 2 in a sitting, like no problem. We, at first, before we started making our own food and really doing baby-led weaning, we had him on baby food. He could eat organic baby food, but he could eat 6 jars of baby food in a sitting and still want more. He would just metabolize his food so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, whatever. So they came in and I told him, I said, my chiropractor is going to hire an MD. We're going to start taking him there, but I am not dealing with the medical establishment, like Western medicine. Okay, just a second. And like, he eats Whole Foods. He doesn't eat fast food. He doesn't eat McDonald's, like none of that. I said, this is what he eats. They're like, okay. Then they did an interview with my husband and myself, and they closed the case because there was nothing but that doctor stamped failure to thrive in his medical record. And I was like, you bleepity bleep. I was so incredibly mad.
Just say it.
And then I had taken him to a different doctor. He had been to 3 doctors under the age of 2. He had been to 3 different ones. I took him to the next doctor. The doctor's like, he's great. He's fine. He's growing amazing. I was like, thank you. End of story. But it was just now, in true honesty, they go to the chiropractor. If they need something, that's where they go. And he's an NMD. I'm like, I am not messing with the medical establishment any further unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Because they pissed me off. And I'm like, no, I'm not playing your game. I'm not doing it. Okay, I got to send my kids off. I'll be back.
Okay.
I love it when she rants. It's fun.
Where is that? Is she over here?
No, she's in Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She always complains about the weather.
I've heard that.
Brilliant. But yeah, it is. We always have to think about what's next and how can we benefit from this. Or even like yesterday's show, for example, the guest was saying that he was told he had post-traumatic stress disorder. He didn't see it as post-traumatic stress, and that was because obviously he was an ex-police officer and he was shot. He was shot multiple times. He don't see it as post-traumatic stress. He sees it as post-traumatic growth, because that's how it all is. So, and obviously, if people want to go and see that, close this down after the show and go and have a watch. It's really good insight. So, how can we manipulate the trauma? Because when you hear the word trauma, we always have these negative and bad vibes. But how can we see the positive in the trauma, and how can we learn from it?
I'll leave that to Richard.
Well, I mean, I thought the same way until I had a conversation with somebody I think we all know, Mr. Ed Milet. And when he sat down with me and said, Richard, nothing has ever happened to you. It's happened for you. And everything is a teachable moment. That's when I decided to turn my post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
So I think once we switch our mindset to thinking, okay, nothing's ever happened to me, it all happened for me, and it all happened for me for a reason, then I think we can switch. I'm old school. I'm like Dr. Robb. I'm old school where I talk about, you can take out the old tape in your brain and change the tape.
Yeah.
Now they call it NLP and stuff like that. But I think that you can reprogram your brain into thinking, okay, post-traumatic stress. No, it's post-traumatic growth. Doc?
Yeah.
100%, man. I'm with it all the way. Yeah. Not changing, you're not shifting with the subliminal lingual programming is just absolutely amazing. I love it to bits, man. I love it.
It is. And it's same with a mental health breakdown to a mental health breakthrough as well, because that's how I see rock bottom now, where it looks, it sounds, and it feels dark and hard and horrible. But you have to. Dwayne Johnson has inspired me to seeing the positive into being at rock bottom. He has with his quotes. And I know you're following Richard. I really do. But he basically sees, like, if you've got your back against that fucking wall, what are you going to do? Are you going to have all this shit pouring into you and you're just going to take this beating? Or are you going to take that one step and then 2 steps and get through this storm to then realize you are the fucking storm, because there's always light at the end of the storm, and storms don't last forever.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. Stephen Smith, they've just blocked my message. Hello, Google. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so yeah, it is. It's all about I won't even say fight back. It's reprogram our mindset into moving forward. Because I always say we're all our own gatekeeper of our own mindset. We all are. And people can try and manipulate it, but they get told to fuck off. It's simple.
Yeah, and I think that if people, and I know that a lot of what we're going to talk about going forward, talking about manifestation, talking about using your reticulator activating system, that whatever you look for, you're going to find. So if you're looking for health, if you're looking for positiveness, it's kind of like your Facebook feed. If you heart everything that you like, it's going to show you more of what you heart.
Yeah.
So the way to change your mindset is to start looking for the stuff that you want in your life and start letting go of the stuff that you don't like in your life. And I know that's something that Dr. Robb, we talked about on my show, is how to manifest things, but also how to use your RAS system.
Yeah, I love that. And people think this is a myth, but it really isn't. The brain doesn't know the difference between the true and the false and the real and the fake. And if we can program that mind first thing in the morning, which we can, to get rid of that subconscious mind, then anything becomes possible, and you can reprogram. That they used to think the brain was hardwired, and that's where we were stuck, But now we find out we can manipulate that to our advantage or disadvantage if it's outside us, because the people we hang around with are the people we become. What we listen to is what we become. So if we're hanging around 9 depressed people, guess what? We're going to become the 10th. It's basic psychology and neuroscience is you've got to be careful who you're taking advice of, who you're hanging around. You need to stop giving a shit what people think about you. And this automatically starts to reprogram away from self-sabotage, along with the work, of course. But it's an amazing transformation. I've got about 11,000 patients right now that I've gone through with this over the years and years I've been in practice. And it's real, but it's new science, and people don't like to accept that new science. They're just like, oh, yeah, sure, that doesn't work. As long as we have that mindset, nothing changes.
Exactly. Well, I've just found another saying as well, and I'm hoping people take this. Trauma never heals. You just get stronger if it doesn't beat you to the ground and keep you there?
I disagree. I think that trauma can heal. It's just the way that we look about how we look at what happened. I think once we change our mindset as to how we look at things, like if I know that, okay, I grew up an addict because of this happened and this happened, that doesn't mean that means I don't have to be like that. I don't have to be an addict in my adult life because I make the choice to be an addict or not be an addict. I have a choice of how I react to the trauma instead of letting it instead of acting on it. I know how to react to it. Right, Doc?
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. And I know people have different opinions on this, but with my program and my research and stuff, if you don't get rid of that trauma, it'll get rid of you. So
Yeah.
What Adam says as well. That's kind of the layman term of saying it. It's like with the trauma does never go away, we get stronger. That would be a layman explanation, but the neuroscience and psychological drivings of the brain tell us that if we don't get rid of that trauma, and here's how the trauma works. So the prefrontal cortex is our decision maker for the brain. So the prefrontal cortex, one of its main jobs is it says to the brain, I have a problem. What's the answer? That's what it says. Now, if you're coming from trauma, if you're coming from childhood trauma, if you're coming from all that stuff, the answer for that question will come from the subconscious brain, which will always be a negative answer. When we get rid of childhood trauma, it comes from the conscious brain. So when the prefrontal cortex go, hey, give me an answer, the conscious brain is always right, and the conscious brain is always. So when the conscious brain says, hey, the conscious mind, hey, we can do this, it's not a problem at all, the subconscious brain will kick in and go, don't be so silly. Your dad was right. You're fucking useless. You're never going to amount to anything. And it's getting rid of one and replacing it with the other. So the subconscious brain wakes us up, lack of oxygen, of course, thrives in hypoxic situations. So this guy wakes us up. Okay, we've got to do our work first in the morning. And what happens is this guy, the conscious brain, kicks in. And this guy's gone for the day. Some parts of the brain reset every 24 hours. But have a guess who's going to wake you up tomorrow morning? It's this guy again. So that's when the 24 hours a day comes from. It's not an AA thing. It goes way before that, when we found out that certain parts of the brain reset every 24 hours. And that's why in a normal circadian sleep pattern, between 2 and 5 is when the body is at its most repair. So we're really low. It's also when most people die of natural causes, because the body is not fighting anything, it's fixing stuff. So when we wake up in the morning, one of the reasons that nobody's ever woke up laughing is lack of oxygen. And that's where the body's, if you don't correct right there when you wake up, you're going to go out to have a shit day. You can believe it. And then you get home. Wife, I've had a terrible day. It's absolutely amazing. And my answer is always the same. Was it really a bad day, or was it 5 minutes you strung out all day? And it's usually 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, isn't it? It's all about our mindset, and that impacts our life as well.
Every decision we make is set on where our mindsets are coming from, subconscious or conscious. Our mindset programs the brain. So the mind is energy. You can't feel it, touch it, but it sits inside the brain. The brain is matter. So mind over matter. This guy in the morning, when you wake up, the energy inside the brain can program the day. But if you don't know that, you're not going to program it. If you don't know that, you don't know the morning routine to kick off the conscious brain rather than sit in that subconscious brain all the time. The subconscious brain has a couple of jobs. It will tell you you're a piece of shit. It will tell you can't do shit. It will tell you you're not as good. You're never going to be blonde enough, tall enough, thin enough, or rich enough. That's a subconscious brain. Most people, I'd say 70% of the people in America come from the subconscious brain. You have to get rid of that shit and prefrontal cortex straight into the conscious brain. The right answer comes based on you. I mean, they used to say over here, when I first came here, I used to say, look, you can do anything you want and you can be anybody you want. And they go, oh, listen, I can't be president of the United States. It was kind of a joke that Americans said to me all the time. Now, let's forget the political views for a second. I'm not into politics. We're a fucking businessman running the country with no political experience whatsoever. Don't fucking dare tell me that you can't achieve your dreams. It's not true. Somebody's put that there.
Absolutely. So, welcome back, Ashley. Glad you're not pulling your hair out yet.
We missed you.
Thanks. And of course, now I feel like I need to catch up on everything, but it's okay. Continue.
Oh, you can watch the replay.
I
But
know.
anyway,
I know.
in your self-care. But speaking of self-care, this is my big question now. When dealing with trauma and an addiction as well, why do we intend to ignore self-care when we're dealing with trauma?
I can't do all the talking all the time. Come on, guys.
I mean, I could take it from a guy's perspective and from a military and or a police officer's perspective.
Okay.
We're told to man up.
Yeah.
We're told to suck it up. We're told we're not supposed to have feelings. We're not supposed to show that side of us. We're supposed to be toxic males. So I think a lot of us were taught that. So when it comes time to self-care, we just put it off until we can't take it anymore. And that's when either we're looking at the bottom of a bottle or the end of a barrel, because we've kept that stuff down inside us until one day when we retire, we have nothing but time and being in our own head, which is a bad place to be sometimes. So I think a lot of us are taught to suck it up, to man up. We hear all that stuff, and then we actually start to believe it, that we're not supposed to have feelings, that we're not supposed to talk about our feelings.
So, Ashley, as a self-care mama, what do you think?
Okay, repeat the question, please, because obviously I had distraction.
You love the distractions.
No, I really don't when I'm in the middle of something.
Right. When you're dealing with a traumatic experience or an event,
Yep.
Why do we intend to put off self-care?
Well, I'll piggyback a little bit off of what Richard said, but I will also say that in my own personal experience, like when I was sick, for example, and then my husband having to carry the load because I wasn't here, I was stuck in a hospital, and having to take care of the kids, having his own medical stuff at that same time, and then also trying to work and do all the things. He had said that was the worst, it was 2 months of hell is what it was. But we don't necessarily talk about it. I don't know that this was 7 years ago already, but I don't know that he, especially at that time, necessarily had words that he could put to it, right? It was traumatic, not just for me going through the experience, but traumatic for him as I almost lost my wife kind of a deal. But at the same time, it has put a keen awareness in for me, because I know, and my husband has readily admitted, that he can get into workaholic tendencies, and it's very easy for him to be in that mode where it's just work and no play, if you will. Yep. But it becomes a recognition for me that I'm you just need to close it down. You need to take a bath. You need to step away. And we can have conversation of, okay, how are you? What do you need? And I just have that keen awareness, okay, my husband really needs this specific, whatever that is, right? He needs a hot meal. He needs intimate time. He needs a break. Because I've been with him for so long, I'm in tune to him. So as a wife, being in tune with your spouse to know when something seems a little off, question it. And it might be, no, I'm fine. Okay. But are you? Like, and it may just very well be he's thinking about nothing, but it very well could be he's thinking about, like Richard said, the end of a barrel, right? So it's having that open line of communication and letting your spouse know it's okay. I'm your safe space to talk to if you need to, but also making sure that he has a strong group of men that he can also go to, right? Because my husband is not readily going to seek out help or anything like that unless he feels it, like I need to be talking to this specific person. But it isn't without me necessarily prompting it, right? So it's one of those things where I'm like, maybe you should talk to XYZ. Maybe you should talk to this guy, right? Because I know that they're going to challenge him in that man version, but also let him be vulnerable, right? So it's definitely, like Richard said, it's that toxic masculinity of be strong. You're weak if you seek out help. You're weak if you do this, or, you know, like there was a time that my husband would not show emotion to a lot of things. And now he's starting to show specific emotions to certain things because he's grown in that area. And he has said, like, I've been working a lot and I need to get away with the family, like for a week. We need to get away, because a vacation for him is never truly a vacation. His brain is so like, what do I have to do for this job? And what, like, he has a very hard time to slow down. And I have to try to sometimes rein that in. And sometimes I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is, you know, like I'll sometimes plan like a job for him on vacation, because I'm like, if you sit still too long, you're going to go bonkers and then you're going to drive me nuts. So he needs to.
Have you not already done that?
Well, sometimes, but I love it because I'm used to it. But it's like, I know what he needs to be doing and he can't sit still for very long. It just really depends though. Like if it's time with me and him, we're still doing something like hiking, or it has to be a physical activity for him to have like that motion, if you will. Because just to sit in his thoughts, it's bad news bears. Like Dr. Robb said, you get too into your thoughts and you're not enough. You're not good enough. Like the negativity sinks in. So, yeah.
Okay, so a question for all of you then, and it's going back to what Kerry says. When you're in self-care, the voices start appearing. These are all different kinds of voices telling you you're not good enough, you're not loved, you're better off dead, all that. Go and get a drink, go and take drugs, all those. How do we control these voices?
Well, for me, I talk back to the voices. I have 5 words that I say that I know if I'm feeling a certain way, I talk to myself. I say, you know what, Rich, you're happy, you're healthy, you're wealthy, you're disease free, you're whole, and you're helping millions of people, all because my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So if I'm feeling a certain way, those words automatically come out of my mouth. So I know that once I have a negative thought come in, there's a positive thought coming back out. So I kind of have that. I let myself fight with each other, and the positive stuff will always win, because after I get done saying those 5 or 7 things, that negative thought is gone already.
Okay. Dr. Robb?
Definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on, Ashley, please.
It's definitely having that counteractive conversation, if you will, and really challenging the thoughts. Like, is this true? Because like Richard said, like having a faith and having that belief that we were created by the Lord is one of those, like, he says that I am XYZ. So remembering I am loved, I am perfect in his image, like all of these certain like aspects that we remember versus I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm, this, that, and the other thing. Because we can come up with a list a mile long of negative thoughts about ourselves. I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm blah, 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 blah. And especially for a woman, not saying that men don't have this many thoughts either, but as women, we connect it to so many different emotions and we tie it to our worthiness so many times. And we also attach our worthiness and our enoughness typically to our spouses or to our job or to our kids or to something, versus just remembering I'm worthy because he says I'm worthy. I'm called. And I am, retraining and taking those thoughts captive. It's not something that's necessarily easy to do, but it's something that can be done. It just takes a lot of dedicated effort to pour back into yourself and remembering the things that you say about yourself. Is it something that you would say to a best friend, like to their face? Is it something that you would say to your kids? Is it something that you would say to your mom or your dad? Like, would you say those things? So why do we treat ourselves that way?
Tammy, time to call this.
How are you?
Fine. We're fine. Yeah, I did text you saying we was in the room, ready.
I'm here. I think I got the time wrong.
You have. Yeah. But give us a little bit of an insight for you then about trauma and addiction, how it worked for you. Because we're talking about personalities and the voices that impact us. So how does it impact you, and how can you manipulate your mindset into saying, piss off, I'm staying positive?
It took a long, long time, as I think we were talking before the last time I was on here. Mm-hmm. But it is, to me, it's just it's a sudden thing. So as soon as you have that thought in your head, that intrusive thought of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, all these things that are coming flooding back to you, you have to stop it like in that moment, because otherwise you snowball and you go deeper and deeper and deeper. I believe Rich and I actually talked about this last time we were talking about the snowball of, you've got these negative beliefs and they're so deep, but you have to cut them off, because one becomes another. So I think the best thing I tell people, the absolute best thing I can do when it happens to me is the minute I have that thought is reframe it. So the minute it pops into my head is to flip the switch. And, if I think, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb, it's because I was told I was so dumb for so long. And I actually, for a long time, believed it. And I have to just go, okay, Tammy, stop. You're human. You made a mistake. You are not dumb. You are getting better, smarter, braver every single day. And that's one of the biggest things I do. I call it my nip in the bud. Like literally, it's stop it immediately and change the script.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Michael Durang Pot. Mel Robbins repeats, I am okay, I am safe, I am loved. There you go. And there's another one as well where I think it's Kerry, please, because I know you stay in the comments. Please correct me. I think it was Harry Potter's Albus Dumbledore that said, if I can survive the battle that I have with myself, I can survive anything, or something like that. Or war with myself. Something on those lines. I mean,
we are our own worst critics, without a doubt. And when you've gone through addiction, or anybody in a family has gone through that chaos of just being beaten down, we're our worst critics. And so you have to somehow muster up that self-grace. I mean, just that self-compassion and that self-love. And at first, sometimes it's kind of like a fake it till you make it, but it works if you work it, and you have to keep trying over and over again sometimes.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just as simple as when you're waking up in the morning, hopefully you're brushing your teeth, but if you're brushing your teeth, once you get done, just say, like, I wake up and I'm like, hey bro, I love you. And it's something simple like that, but sometimes we never hear the words I love you from another man. So why not tell yourself that you love you?
Okay. So my question to all of you then, and everyone in the comments as well, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and you said something positive about yourself?
This morning, I just woke up and said, hey bro, you're a handsome fella. I love you. Have a great day. And so that's what I do. That's what I did this morning before I got my day started.
Dr. Robb?
Do it every morning. I have a routine every morning. I introduce the breath work. So the presence of oxygen equals a lack of disease. We only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. So the 20 exaggerated breaths in and out, like I said before, will get rid of the subconscious and ignite the conscious, which loves oxygen. I alternatively brush my teeth with a right hand and a left hand daily. So neural pathways are not stuck in that pattern. They can move around. And I stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you 10 times to stop that subconscious brain, the good stuff. Now, the key to that is you've got to stand 6 feet away. So with the optical illusion that we have, if we get close to the mirror while we're shaving, guys, or women's putting, makeup on, and you do it from there, you see all your blemishes. When's the last time you went to the office? Hey, Jimmy, great. We don't do that. So when you stand 6 feet away from the mirror, the blemishes disappear. That's how people see us. We think they see us like this. They don't. They see us 6 feet away, and the optical illusion sees all our nice parts, and the blemishes gone. We look good looking. When you go out with that mentality to the world, you're already in a good place. Yeah. You're already in a good place because the mindset is set. Like, nope, your weight does not define you. Your height, your skin color, whatever, your wheelchair does not define who we are. And what we do as human beings is we let other people define us. Like, you can't do this, you can't do. Do you know how many times I've told I can't do stuff? It's unbelievable. So that telling us, like past measurement and learned behavior from parents, caregivers, or friends today, becomes my internal dialogue. My internal dialogue will kill me. So I used to drop a pen on it. Oh, what an idiot. You've got to stop that, guys. Because the subconscious brain loves that shit. And it will hold on to it and hold on to it. And do you know what it'll pop out into the prefrontal cortex? Just when you're going for that job, just when you're going to buy that house, just when it's terrible. So the question is, if 300 neural pathways die every day, which we have researched and found out that they do, what are you replacing them with? Are you replacing them with the internal dialogue that you already know? Are you replacing them with Jimmy around the corner who's so jealous of you? There's two kinds of people in this world, guys. The guys who love you for who you are, and the guys that want to be you. And the quicker we understand that, life becomes a lot better. You see, I don't want people to do as good as me. I want people to do better than me. And human beings around, especially the USA and England, is they don't want that. They don't want to share this. They don't want to say hello. And, the internal dialogue kills people on a daily basis. And the only time, I might be the only face somebody sees today who's on the way to kill themselves. That's what there's a guy who goes to the Golden Gate Bridge. I always share this when I'm doing lectures. It's the Golden Gate Bridge, and he throws himself on and commits suicide. The police pull him out of the water. They find the identity, and they go back to his apartment, and they're looking for next of kin. What they find is a letter on the table, and it reads, I'm going to go to the Golden Gate Bridge and throw myself off and commit suicide unless on the way there, which is an hour's walk, somebody smiles, says good morning, waves, winks, nods at me. I'll stop right there. I'll turn back and I'll start again tomorrow. So the question is to everybody watching and listening, how many people have you walked past today who's headed to the Golden Gate Bridge? We just never know. And when we say kind words come back. We're not meant to operate. So the great test that the Japanese scientists did with the 2 bodies of water was absolutely mind-blowing. Guys, if you've not heard this, they had 2 bodies of water in 2 different rooms in containers. huge. I'm not talking about little, huge gallons and gallons, hundreds of gallons. And the staff were told to go in room A and curse and swear at it. And, you know, this crazy, horrible cursing music was playing loud. And in room B, they were told to go in and compliment the water, and Mozart and stuff like that was on. After the 3-month period of doing this every single day, they found out that the water in room A was undrinkable. And the water in room B was the purest form of water they've ever tested in Japan. So if we're 90, whatever it is, % water, what damage are we doing to each other when we say stupid things or internal dialogue? We become undrinkable, you know, and that's not the way to live life. We're not meant to live like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyone? Response?
That was very well said. I mean, that's a perfect example. It's what you put out, and it's the conversations that we have with everybody, but specifically the ones in our head, because that's what makes the energy that we're putting out. That's what determines the energy that we're putting out there.
Yeah.
Which is important for our daily life. I mean, I'm a big believer that we only have today. We only have the 24 hours. My world is not yesterday and it's not tomorrow. It's today. Can you imagine how many people yesterday that were killed, car accidents, who had plans for today?
Yep.
I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. At 6 p.m., my assistant will send my day tomorrow. But right now, I'm not interested. I run today. I stay in the day. If somebody calls me up now, Rob, quick, is any chance you're coming round? I'll come round tomorrow. Because when my head starts rushing around, that's when the alcoholism will strike. When my mind is busy with nonsense noise that's not needed anymore, the alcoholism, and it's very patient, will strike. And I don't know one alcoholic that's ever, let's say on a Friday, alcoholism has come and go, hey, Jimmy, let's have a drink tonight. It doesn't do that. It's a week before when you start feeling pissed off with someone, or you couldn't make something, rushing around, all that stuff. And what happens is you find yourself drinking. By the time you pick up that drink, all bets are off. That's not the relapse. The relapse is a week before that. In anything, with depression, with anxiety, PTSD, it's never at the point when it strikes. The body gives you plenty of warnings, and your mindset gives you plenty of warnings that this self-sabotage is going to happen and it's only days away. If we could catch it there, which we can, then life becomes worth living for today. We can plan stuff for tomorrow, but we have to live. This is my world. Where I am now at 3 o'clock is my world. Right?
Yeah, going off that, I was actually going to share this onto my story on social media earlier today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow instead. And it's going off what you said, Dr. Rob. But this is just aimed at men. It's a video I watched earlier, so I've just nicked a little bit of content, like the information from it. It says here 696,800 a year, 58,006 a month, 14,516 a week, 2,973 a day, 96 every hour, which makes that 2 men every second commit suicide.
Well, not only do I agree with that, but I can categorically tell you that statistic is not correct. It's much higher. We don't get the right statistics. So
it's always a year off, isn't it? It's always a year off.
Yeah. We went into a hospital, Richardson in Dallas, and we're allowed to do a month there on Friday, Saturday, and I think it was a Sunday night, and record people coming in pertaining to alcohol, drugs, or anything else they had in the system. 90% of people that came into that hospital over the 4 weeks we did it had alcohol or drugs inside their system. Out of the 90% that come in, 40% was kept overnight. Out of the 40% that was kept overnight, 23% was kept for 2 or 3 nights. Out of the whole thing, 3% died. Not one report on the death certificate says alcoholism or addiction. He didn't say it. So can you imagine the suicide being the same? I have this, not only the stats, but my wife, they were at a barbecue with her brother, children, and wife, and he is a struggling alcoholic who's doing his best. And he said, look, I'm going to go home early. I feel tired. I'll see you tomorrow, Janet. We're going to go to we're going to have a great time, and blah, blah, blah. And cameras show him driving home. parking in the driveway, walking into the garage, getting a gun and blowing his head up. Sober. So the statistics again went down as some kind of, I don't know, gunshot. It doesn't go down as someone who's depressed or suffering from alcoholism. So it always makes me smile with these statistics, which are awesome. Don't get me wrong. I just think, God, there's probably double that. I mean, we could never know because it's not reported, but I've seen how things get reported in the medical fraternity. I see how COVID got misinterpreted, but we're not going to get into that topic, of course.
Of course. Well then, Tammy, we're gonna have to bring you back because I know you got the timings wrong. So we've got guests lined up till December time. So we'll bring you on for that. Dr. Robb, I want to bring you back as well. Absolutely. Yep, he's just doing the Friday night dance. There you go. He's just taking a selfie. That's probably gonna end up on social media. I don't know. But thank you everyone for coming on. This tooth is really pissing me off. But yeah, it is good. So yeah, any final words?
Well, I've got Richard. He's been on my Facebook for tons and tons. Tammy, I'm going to look for you. Ashley, I've just friended you. So if you want to and don't think I'm crazy, friend me back. And I'd like to stay in touch with everybody if that's possible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So Dr. Robb, where are you? Where are you located? I might have been gone when you said that.
Oh, okay. So I have 5 offices around the world. San Antonio, where I am, Dallas, Manchester, Switzerland, and Spain.
Okay.
But I'm in San Antonio, and we get to try. I'm a concierge doctor, so I only see 4 patients every 4 months. But my therapist and coaches have hundreds and hundreds of patients. But I get to travel to different places. So when I find out where Adam is, and Richard, and you, Ashley, and Tammy, you can bet in the next 6 months I'll be flying over there to visit. So I'm going to come and stalk you. I mean, follow you.
Well, I'm in Wisconsin. Now is a good time to come when it's not, below 0 and freezing outside.
Nice.
See, as I said earlier, she's going to whinge about the weather. There you go. There's your evidence. But on that note, yes, I know I'm due at the dentist tomorrow morning. First thing, I know I'm going to be in agony.
What time?
What? At the dentist?
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, so it's not tooth hurty.
I don't know.
I got it.
So did I. But anyway.
Awesome.
Anyway.
Thanks, guys.
Right, so next week, I'm not going to be here. Yeah, I've just heard my wife laughing about that as well. Thank you for that. Yep, so next week I'm not here. Ashley is going to be taking over. Richard, I don't know if you're on that.
I will be in the Bahamas drinking virgin pina coladas, thinking about you guys.
There you go. Well, the topic is the 3M formula to kickstart a rock solid life. So there you go. So that's next week. So
Awesome.
Tammy, I'll be in touch with you to bring you back.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Right. See you later, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.